Good morning guys, today a comparison which you've been asking so much for, the specialized Epic versus other high-performing cross-country hardtails. It's gonna be the Epic versus Trek Procaliber versus Scott scale. There won't be the Canada FSI today. I've been talking so much about it, so you know most of the features. You will be able to compare the one to these. The main reason I'm doing this is to simplify things for you, so that when you go to the store you know what to ask for, because there's so many different things to look at. So let's just start. I'm gonna just start by saying that these are racing cross-country hardtails with the not very comfortable all day in the saddle geometry, so remember that. You can use it for that if you want to just have one bike and race on the cross country, but there's so many other bikes on the market now specifically designed for trail riding that I would really recommend having these, choosing these if you want to race and if you want to really perform on the cross country races. Short, sharp, great climbing bikes and very stiff. And now I'm gonna tell you what's so specific about the Epic and then the Procaliber and then the scale, because there are differences and there's so many different things to look at. So when we start with the range of the specialized Epic, we will see that there are actually two frames. So remember guys, two frames. The first one is the S-Works. S-Works, that's the range for racing for the on the pro level. So we've got the S-Works frame and we've got the specialized Epic frame. This one is the S-Works Epic and this one is the specialized Epic. What's the difference? It's all about the carbon fiber. And if we look at the S-Works Epic, which is very expensive, it is for pro riders, it will have the FACT 12M carbon fiber. That's how specialized call it. This is high-modulus carbon fiber. So lots of high-modulus stiff and super light fiber, and this frame will weigh in the lightest version below 900 grams. You can find the info right here. $3,000. That's the frame. Frame's price, less than 900 grams. The lightest one. They don't say what size and so, but just to know it will be less than 1 kilogram for sure. So this is the S-Works. Another bike will be the specialized Epic, and it will have the FACT 11M. Maybe there is some blend of high modulus and intermediate modulus carbon fibers. They don't tell us that. So there's really few info on such an expensive bikes, which is super bad for a buyer in my opinion. So specialized, you should give us more info. And also these bikes are probably produced for specialized by Merida. I'm not sure about these models. They don't tell us much about it, but probably really high quality factory of Merida. So these are two bikes. Another specific to the specialized Epic and S-Works Epic bike is that when they have the RockShox seat at the front, it comes with the brain stuff in it. So you don't have a lockout for it. It has its own brain. You can just adjust the fade for the brain on this fork, and it's gonna think for you. It's gonna find when to lock it out and when to work, when to take the bumps. Some riders like it. I would love Specialized to develop this this feature, but some riders don't. So just know when you buy the one with the seat, because the cheaper one, still the Hardtail Expert, Epic Expert, will still come with the seat, and when you see the S logo here, it's got a brain. But then the Epic Hardtail Comp for $27,100 will come with Reba with no brain. So just know that these are specific things. So one thing, we've got two frames. It is the S-Works Epic, very expensive, super light, and the and the specialized Epic, which will be a little bit more of the weight and much cheaper, same geometry. But these are only carbon bikes. Let's go to the Trek. This is the lineup of the Trek Procaliber bikes. Then the Excalibur comes here. So these are the Procaliber bikes. And here we have one extra thing. Trek also have the highest modulus carbon frame. That's the Procaliber SL. As you can see, there are two models, 9.9 SL and 9.8 SL. So the lightest frame of Trek is the Procaliber SL. The second one is the Procaliber. So it's like the 12, fact 12M and 11. On the specialized, here we have SL and non-SL Procaliber. And then we also have the alloy version, which starts from Procaliber 8. This is the aluminum bike. So you just know, when it comes to the specialized, you only choose between two carbon frames. When it comes to Trek, you have 3 frames, 2 levels of the carbon frame and 1 alloy frame. Geometry will be the same. So these are racing bikes. Geometry will be the same. Now, the thing which is so special about Trek is that they have their own design of the frame with these Isospeed Decoupler. That's the feature which allows the seat tube to flex much more, which makes this bike much more compliant. You can also see that the seat tube is really like shaped in the crazy way. That means much more compliance. This works. It does work. You can also see Trek rider riding often on the Hardtail when other riders on the World Cup use the full suspension bike. The commentator don't mention actually it, but I think that Anthony Cooper sometimes feels like the Isospeed Decoupler will be just enough, and so he would ride this color, this bike with the Isospeed. Interesting thing is that this is the most expensive. So this is the SL OCLV carbon frame. Then we have the OCLV non-SL. So less high modulus fibers, or maybe no, I don't know whether it's blend or not. They don't tell us. They should. They don't tell us. And also with the Isospeed Decoupler. And then when we look at the alloy bike, it also comes with the Isospeed Decoupler. The special thing about the alloy one is that it is front derailleur compatible. You can have 2x drivetrain. For some riders it will be quite important. Very few, but for me it would be. You just know this one has the front derailleur. It is front derailleur compatible. You can make it 1x if you want, but it comes like from the store. It comes with the XDSLX drivetrain 2x11. Okay, so Trek is giving us 3 Procaliber frames, 2 carbon and 1 alloy. And finally, the Scott. That's the one you can really be confused about. Here we have Scott Scale and Scott Scale RC. I believe this stands for racing, right? Scott Scale RC and Scott Scale. But then when you click RC, that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see RC different models, but here the one of those has the RCSL letters here, and that means this is the lightest frame. This is the, they say, 849 grams frame, and this is the type of the frame. It is carbon HMX, so high modulus X SL, 849 grams. The whole bike will weigh just about 8.6 kilograms. It's good that they give us the weight, but we don't know the size of the bike. Probably medium. We don't know. System weight 128, which is quite good. So this is the lightest one, but if I remember correctly, if it didn't change, Nino Shooter is not riding the lightest one. He's riding the second one, so still RC, but it's a World Cup bike. So it's not exactly Nino's bike. He's going to have different shifters and different cockpit, but this is his frame, I believe. This is Nino Shooter's frame. That's a Scott Scale RC World Cup bike. Of course, there will be more of these on the RC range. Let's go back here. See, this is the World Cup bike, and then you have the Pro, Team, and Scale RC 900 Contessa. That's for the women. But this is frame number 1, the lightest one, and frame number 2. So we already have 2 carbon frames for Scott Scale RC bikes, okay? And then we go for the Scott Scale non-RC, and we still have the carbon frame. So it is already the 3rd type of the frame. And let's look at the type of the frame. The lightest one, RC, was carbon HMX SL, super light one. Then the second one was carbon HMX, so non-SL. And the third one on Scott... this is Scott RC, still RC, Scale RC, I'm sorry. We've got carbon HMX and carbon HMF frame. So 3 carbon frames for Scott Scale RC. Okay, so to put it more simple, in a more simple way. Then we have the Scott Scale non-RC bikes, and this one also comes with the HMF frame. So I believe Scott Scale RC HMF or Scott Scale Carbon HMF frame, that might be the same frame, but I'm not sure about it. It says HMF but no RC, right? So if you buy the bike, it does matter, and why it matters a lot I'm gonna tell you just in the second. But then the last one is the alloy one. Scott also comes with Scale non-RC aluminum frame. The difference between different models for Specialized, Trek and Scott here is that all 2 Specialized Hardtails have same geometry. All 3 Procaliber frames, so 2 carbon 1 alloy, have same geometry. And for Scott, the carbon one will have same geometry, but the alloy one will be a little bit less aggressive. So that's the approach of the Scott. Okay, now why is it important to know actually? Because maybe you think, well, Dan, why do you tell us all this stuff? Why don't you say about drivetrains, components, and the weights? Because this HMF or HMF-SL or HMX-SL changes the price of the bike dramatically. And here is my tip for you guys. Let's look at this range. This just looks so nice. Let's say you want to have a bike. You want to have because you're watching this video. You can buy Procaliber SL for let's start with $8,200 or maybe $4,200 on another components. You can also buy Procaliber non-SL, which starts from 22, goes up to 37, and finally you have the alloy ones, which the most expensive one will cost you $2,000 and it starts with $1,700. Why is it important to actually know the differences? That okay, these are different frames, because rule of thumb is, if you want to go high in performance, you train a lot and you want to just perform as good as possible and you want to put the money, buy the better frame with maybe lower components. You don't have to buy Procaliber for $8,200, sorry, but you can buy the one for 42 and still have this awesome frame, so the lightest frame, and you will be upgrading. You are getting the ultra lightweight SL OCLV frame with some lower components, and it's not gonna be costing you that crazy $8,200. But if you just want to buy a bike and forget about upgrading and race even pretty good, maybe be like even top 3 in your local races, you can buy cheaper frame with better components, because maybe you're gonna get better fork. Just you know, the bike can be lighter on the better components and a heavier frame and still be cheaper. So that's what I'm trying to sell you here. All right. And of course, if you are maybe starting with racing, the alloy frame will be great, and you will already be accustomed to the racing geometry. And probably in the video, like Epic versus Procaliber versus Scale, you would like me to say, okay Dan, so which one would you buy? I don't want to criticize Specialized for the brain, because I love new design and design that can really have some positive impact on the industry. I wouldn't buy brain just yet, so I wouldn't buy Specialized Epic on the brain featuring fork. I would rather go for Trek or for Scott. I would love Trek to tell us what's the weight of the frame, because it's got this Isospeed Decoupler, so it is probably heavier. We don't know how much, what's the weight of the bike, because here we don't have the weight of the Trek bikes. Oh, we do. Wait. Okay. Okay. 70.5 will weigh 1077. So you can just compare the components and then tell. But I like Trek. I remember that on the FSI, the safe system with the seat post flexing to the back was making the bike really more compliant. I believe all these bikes are compliant. But if you wanna, maybe if you're riding like tough terrain and you wanna have only hardtail, the Isospeed might be the answer. I don't like the graphics on the Scott bikes that much. I don't like this yellow. This one looks awesome, but I wouldn't buy it by any means. It's crazy expensive, and there are some crazy designs behind it, so it has to cost that much. I think I would either go for maybe Specialized Epic on the Reba, so the cheapest one, $2,700, good price. Or Procaliber with the non-SL version with the Isospeed. Maybe not Scott, but all these bikes are great. So guys, if you have one of these, let us know. If you want to see some other comparison, let us know. To sum up very shortly, Specialized Epic means S-Works Epic and Specialized Epic, so 2 carbon frames, lighter and heavier. Trek means 3 frames, the super light carbon, a heavier carbon, and then alloy. And then Scott means many frames, right? Because they will have 2 frames for RC, and then they will have 3 frame for RC, and then non-RC will be carbon or alloy, so 5 different frames. So that's a lot of things to consider. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Let me know what would you like to see next. See you guys. Bye bye.